Okay, Anthony, so it's been a while since we've talked.
Mm-hmm.
What would you like
It's
to
been
talk
a
about
while.
today?
Just the normal things going on. School's starting to wind down. Projects are coming due. Feeling that stress of senioritis for sure. Working out and what we talked about before, I think I told you last time it had been going good.
Yeah.
Now it's basically back to normal, which is feeling really, really good.
Well, that's awesome.
So,
Good for you.
diet, kind of on the same page, and then stuff with the girlfriend is what it is. So, that's kind of like an overview of everything that's going on.
Okay. So, out of all those things, I'm sensing kind of stuff with the girlfriend might be, in your mind a little bit more?
Yeah, it's between school and that, but school's school, so I kind of know how that's going to work out. Stress will be over in 2 or 3 weeks, and then it'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the girlfriend situation is definitely probably the most tense.
Okay. You seem to think about that a little bit before you finish your sentences. Tell me more about.
Yeah, I do. Tend to finish I kind of
hesitate almost.
The best way I can describe it is that we just have an interesting relationship. I know that I'm the more confident person in the relationship, and I'm more confident with my emotions and being able to kind of take step backs and relax, and I know that she is not, which can just become stressful.
Okay, yeah, that's understandable.
Mm-hmm.
Has it always been like this in your relationship?
Yeah, it always has been, and it never really presents a problem because, like I said, I'm pretty aware that, she has a much more traumatic past than I do.
Right.
And so, I understand that there's going to be some things that, she just struggles with, and I get that. Mm-hmm. But then I think the thing that frustrates me the most is how we have conversations. Mm-hmm. And we are very open about it. And we have really good communication about it, but things just never seem to be fixed.
Okay, yes. I remember you talking about this a little bit last time,
mm-hmm.
and about a certain situation at a restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys talked any more about anything that went on, or how have things been since we last talked about that situation?
Things were good up until this weekend. It was either this weekend or it was within the last 7 days. I can't really remember which day it was, but we were hanging out, and it was Sunday night now that I remember it. So we were planning on hanging out till 10:30. She gets up early in the morning for school. Mm-hmm. And it's okay, well, if you're getting up early for school and I have to go home and work on a paper, mm-hmm. I had something due at midnight, and I just wanted to, it was basically done. I just wanted to maybe put a few finishing touches on it. And 10:30 came around, and then I'm okay, well, I think I'm gonna head out. And then she's well, do you want to watch 10 or 15 minutes more? And I was okay, sure, right, that's fine. But then when I said I had to go, I'm yeah, well, I'd like to go work on my paper. She just got super confrontational, and I was well, what happened? She's well, I didn't know you had to work on your paper. I was I told you that yes, it was mostly done, but I'd like to go work on it a little bit more. And it was just the stress of saying we leave at 10:30, mm-hmm. and then 10:30 comes, and then all of a sudden it's kind of there's a fight about it. It's where'd that come from? I thought we agreed on this.
Right. So yeah, what was that like for you? What kind of thoughts were you having?
I think the best way I can describe. Sorry, I know this is a super wordy conversation, and it's super.
No.
It's describing a lot for sure. I know that when she presumes plans, and like I said, we talked about this before. I think that's what makes it so difficult for me is that I've told her that when we make plans and then you just expect that I'll stay longer, or you just think that I'll change my mind when just oh, maybe he'll stay longer, or oh, maybe he'll do this instead. That's not fair to me. I can't always meet these presumptions that you have in your head that I don't even know about.
Right.
The presumption. And then I asked her about it. I'm well, you said we were going to leave at 10:30, and her response was something along the lines of well, I'd never have you, I'd never want you to go if we had the chance. Just the way that we'd like to spend as much time with each other as possible. She's
okay.
Well, I'd like to not have you not leave at all, so you should know that. But I was well, how's that fair?
Right. So I know from previous times that we've talked, you're very aware of your girlfriend's thought processes and how she interprets situations and everything. How do you think you could communicate with her how you feel in a way that she would receive it well? Does that make sense? Have you ever kind of thought about what a conversation would look like in that way?
Yeah, thinking about what, like, the best way to say things or the best way to approach things, it's always tough for me because I don't know. It's like, I think I've tried a lot of ways, actually. I've tried being very blunt, and I mean, that worked to some extent because it just, that was still kind of when we were, like, not really not aggressive, but just firm with what we had to say, kind of early in the relationship. But then that led to problems, and I think that just being flat out honest and telling her that, I can't live up to these presumptions that you have in your head that I don't even know about. If we say we're going to hang out till this time, that's what I have in my mind.
Right.
And I mean, honestly, that's just who I am. I choose to do something, like, even if it's as simple as, like, okay, we're going to hang out till, like, 10:30 or 3:30, and I'm already thinking, okay, I'm going to leave at that time, I'm going to get to my next place at this time, and this is what I'm going to do. So I'm a very process-oriented person, which makes it difficult, for sure.
Because, are you saying she's not really?
Yeah, and I think that she doesn't think that same way. So if it's like, I say we're going to leave at 3:30, and there's, like, 7 minutes left of a wild game, and, like, I'm going to go because it's 3:30, and we said we were going to go at 3:30, and I already have all these things that I'm going to be doing.
Okay.
But that's something that she gets upset about.
Okay. So ideally, you're saying that your ideal situation would be you communicate about something beforehand, and that's agreed upon, and no matter what the situation, you stick with a plan. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Well, I think that's kind of what I do right now.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think as far as what you said, the best plan, like, to communicate things, I think that we're just both on the same page, and we know that, this is what we planned on doing. This is what is good. We're not coming up with any plans that we're not telling each other about. So I think that's what makes things so difficult.
Okay. Would you feel comfortable maybe doing, like, a role play type situation? Just so I can kind of see, because I'm hearing a lot in your voice when you talk about how these conversations go with your girlfriend and stuff. It seems like you think a lot about how she's interpreting things and how she kind of reacts in a situation, but I'd like to kind of see how your conversation, or, like, how your tone comes off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
Just to kind of get a feel for what happens. So, are you comfortable with me playing your girlfriend? Do you want to use an empty chair? What are you more comfortable doing?
Whatever you feel like would be the best.
I feel like I'll just pretend to be your girlfriend so you have something to kind of work with.
Yeah.
Because I think I have kind of a good picture of what she feels in situations. Okay, so maybe we're sitting watching Wild Game. You said you were going to leave at 10. The Wild Game's almost over, but not quite, and it's 10 o'clock. Okay, so how do you approach that situation?
So, like, probably 10 minutes before, I'd be saying, things like, all right, so, I'm going to go grab my stuff, or I'm going to start packing my stuff up, and, like, once 10 o'clock comes around, I'd most likely just stand up and say, like, all right, I think I'm going to head on out.
Well, are you sure you want to leave? Did I do something? Like, why don't you? The game's almost over.
I know the game's almost over, and I mean, sports time, 7 minutes with, it's a close game. If, the puck gets iced, if they score, if there's a challenge, 7 minutes hockey time really isn't 7 minutes actual time.
Yeah, but I might not get to see you very much tomorrow because you're really busy.
Yeah, I know, but like I said, 10 o'clock came around, it's 10 o'clock, and I gotta get home, and, you told me that you wanted to go and have me head out at this time because you were going to get ready for bed anyway, so...
Okay, yeah, you're right. Okay, I like how you justified, or you kind of backed yourself up with, like, this, you didn't do anything, this is my thought process, 7 minutes, whatever, you know. I think approaching every situation that way and justifying it and saying like how you personally feel about the situation, not saying you said this, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that can kind of come across as accusatory in a way.
Yeah.
And I know it's really hard in the moment because it's so much easier to not use those like I statements.
Yeah.
But, so how do you think in the future situations you could use like I statements?
Yeah, I think that's something I definitely need to work on. I think that, that's how I base my thought process. I'll say that, like I think, well, she said we wanted to leave at this time, so I'm going to follow through on that. But I think in the moment, I think you're entirely right that saying you said this, so that's what I'm saying. Like, if that's where my thoughts come from, that's okay, because that's, I think that's a fairly normal process. But I think kind of throwing that back is not ever really a very beneficial way. So I think that's a really good point, that I need to remember that, I'm not always thinking I'm not able to decipher what she's always thinking. I have to work off my own emotions and my own processes and, use more I statements.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's just a hard process. It's stuff that happens quite a bit, and I think I presume because I know. We've dated for almost 2 years now, so I don't think that I'm missing the mark when I'm making these presumptions, but I don't think they're the best things to be doing, even if I am pretty close to the truth.
Yeah. Well, it's good that you recognize that, and I know it's hard when you have been dating someone for a long time. I've been dating my boyfriend for almost 2 years now, and we kind of fall into the same patterns where I assume things as well. And so, I totally get where you're coming from. It's hard to kind of break that pattern and speak how you feel without presuming the other person is feeling a certain way.
Yeah, with college, it's such a difficult thing to be, having those routines with somebody, from my perspective at least, that, you guys get comfortable with this, and then a new semester comes around or summer comes around, and all of a sudden there's this huge change in routine, and you can't do the same thing you've been doing. And I think that, big changes like that are always kind of hard. So, I know what you mean. I feel it.
Yeah. Well, is there anything else? Do you want to continue talking about anything else?
No, I think we covered pretty much everything, yeah.
Okay, pretty much everything?
Yeah, I'm nervous for the upcoming summer, and that kind of what we were just talking about, the big change in routine and how that could just be difficult.
On your relationship or just in general?
Yeah, on the relationship, on the kind of terms of, we've gotten into a routine with this. Like, we hang out Wednesdays because of just the way classes and work out, and then once on the weekend. So a pretty decent amount of time. But then, I work full time in the summer, and she's taking summer courses. So I feel like there's kind of impending stress.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's totally understandable. Can I ask you, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being pretty exhausted, not entirely happy, 10 being extremely happy, where do you find yourself right now in your relationship?
I would say that that's one of the difficult things that I always find, is that we're extremely happy in our relationship, and I am.
That's good.
I would say that I'm around an 8 or a 9.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Yeah, no, it is, and I think that's what is just such a push and pull feel, because it's I am very happy, and she's, someone that I wanted to find, and I haven't been able to find in many relationships, and it's just that one kind of area of communication, and communication and misunderstanding.
Okay, so you would say maybe that communication and misunderstanding is what's keeping you from being at a 10 at this point?
Yeah, I think it really is.
Okay. So what do you think, I know this is a pretty loaded question, but do you think there are things that we could work on to get that communication and understanding to the point of getting you to a 10?
Yeah, I think that